we were like, what happened? I remember when he was 4 thinking somebody else needs to parent my child because I don't know what to do with him. But we made it through that. And I was like, when he got to double digits, I was excited. But then we hit puberty, and I'm going, do you call the police on your son? Really? Do you put him in a psych ward? You take him to show dare? These are choices we face as parents. And guess what? We don't have a friend to call and say, hey Jill, hi, my son just put a hole in the wall and they moved the picture to cover it. Right? I mean, we are so isolated, and if we told our friend who had a neurotypical child that, they just look at us like, wow, okay. And then they go on and talk about something else because they have no idea how to talk to us as parents. It is so hard. And thank you guys for coming and listening to some of this stuff. Brett Gilleo, I have to I'm going to crow for him a little bit, okay? Because we went through 5 therapists before we found Brett. And Brett has changed our lives. Brett has come into our house. He knows everything about us pretty much, right? Yeah, because we're pretty real in front of him. He's coming in enough. And we do role play, we do behavioral therapy. I don't know what else he did with Jordan, but when Jordan first started going to Paris, and some of his teachers from Paris are here, they're phenomenal. It's not a school for bad kids. It's a school for kids who are different and learn differently. It is an awesome school. I'm telling you right now. There's nowhere else I would want my son. Okay? But when Jordan would look at you before, like Mr. Euchre's famous for this, he'd be like walking down the hall like this. And Euchre would be like, Jordan! And he'd be like, what? Jordan, look at me. To this day, if you see Jordan, look at him now. He's so shy. But that was one of the very first thing that Drew Euchre took upon himself. Jordan, look at me. Jordan, look at me. Jordan, be proud of who you are. Drew Euchre is amazing. I'm telling you, he's the principal at Paris, and great school. There were, you know that saying, it takes a village. Really, with Jordan, it has taken a village. It has been so much work. One of the things Brett wanted me to tell you is how much work it is. I'm not going to lie to you. There were days I couldn't leave Jordan home alone with his siblings. Like, we had somewhere to go, and it'd be like, are you going or am I going? Because we can't both go. I was afraid he was going to hurt himself because he was depressed. You know, on top of that, autism, he had, you know, this whopping acne, and he has glasses, and he had braces and missing teeth. I mean, come on. In middle school, give me a break. Who loved middle school, right? Anyway, but be really different, you know, in middle school. So he has overcome so much, and we have worked so hard. And I appreciate the teachers who have come alongside of us and worked with us. One of the things we did get at East Middle School, Greg Clement was really great in helping us with this, was a 504 plan. And a 504 is really good for Asperger's kids, high functioning autism, because it transfers with them. The other thing that I was blessed with out of this is I have a job now working with other parents of kids with special needs. So I actually work with the parents of the kids that have the special needs to set them up with a peer, with a mentor, with somebody to walk alongside of them on that journey, because it's hard, and you know, there's not many people I can tell about the holes in my wall. By the way, there's no more holes in my wall. They're in Jordan's room, just haven't fixed them yet. Because I'm like, is he in college? There hasn't been a new one in like over a year. Probably 18 months, really long time. So that's good. The other thing that, besides Brett coming in and talking to Jordan, was talking to his siblings. It's really important that you have a family therapist, because those siblings have challenges right along with the one that has the special needs. Okay, they're either getting left out or they're getting picked on an awful lot, right, Jordan? Our favorite thing at our house is, if you're the parent, raise your hand. Yeah, look, he raised his hand. Oh! Yeah, not the parent. So, just because he knows everything, now he knows he needs to be quiet when he knows everything. This was a kid who was telling me how to put radiation into a nanotechnology and insert it into a single cell when he was like 10. Okay, and my eyes just glaze over. You know, so whatever you say. So I'm proud of who he's become. We have a lot of work to do. I want him to go to college. I keep telling him, you're going to be something great. Every day look at him and say, you are going to be something great. Every day. Even those days it was hard and he was out of control, And you know, afterwards they crash. They go in their room and they sleep for how many hours, guys? Hours they crash. And the wounded, or the rest of the family, is left out in the living room. So as professionals, I want you to know, sometimes they can hold it together so well at school, but that's all they've got. And they get home and they lose it. And know that we are doing, as parents, the very best we can. It's hard, okay? But I would bring my little show and tell person. He's not really little anymore. Because I think that as a family, and Jordan has overcome so many things. And we have a lot of strategies we've used. So, yeah, thanks for coming tonight. Okay, Brett, it's all yours.
I appreciate that they came. I talked to them, and I said, I'd really like Jordan to come. Because I can talk about it, but if you hear it from somebody from their perspective, it can be different. And when you listen to Kim, what's interesting is when he was 4, they probably would have never thought he would be where he's at. I mean, in a matter of 3 or 4 years that I've been with the family, you know, he's really a different kid. It's pretty amazing. You know, when he, I asked his mom to ask him to stop because she has more power over him than I do. So, but and not that I didn't want Jordan to keep going, but as you notice, he struggled with stopping. He was like, he's on this agenda. He's got something to do, and you're asking him to stop. Now, 5 years ago, right, that would have been something very different. Okay, a lot of kids I work with, when you ask them to stop, it's not easy to stop. So, and I think that's really important to know. So, part of what I wanted to talk about today, last week, for those who are here, I talked about understanding autism. And today, I want to talk about the simple strategies that work. So, and I have probably thousands of them. As I was going to bring all my books in, right? So I don't know if I have a car big enough, because over the weekend I'm like, I have got books and books all over my table, and I'm pulling stuff out. And this is stuff I've done for 15 years. And I have 2 master's degrees, one in special education, one in counseling. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I've got lots of training. But I have to tell you, what's taught me the most is working with the kids and families that I have, because that's really where I've learned a lot. I'll talk about a lot of strategies today, but I can tell you what, I've been hit, spit, punched, my glasses broken, my stuff broken. I've watched some pretty intense things. So I'm giving you the best, okay? So, but it doesn't always go well, and you may try something. It may not work very well, and it's just important to know that it takes a lot of work. And so the stuff that Jordan and his family have done is pretty big. You just don't know. Temple Grandin, I talked about her last week. There's a movie about her. She didn't talk till about 4, 5, 6. And they talked about, if you ever hear her talk, people told the mom to put her in a hospital or a unit, a home for individuals with mental retardation back then. She didn't. And so Brandon has a PhD, University of Colorado, brilliant person. So I'm open to I'll talk about lots of strategies that'll support kids today. I'm open to questions. I can't get too many. And then as I realized, I have 90-some slides to show you. Okay. So, and I'm thinking, okay, 90 slides, 90 minutes, a minute a slide, right? But a lot of them are just pictures of things that I've done, pictures of other things people have done, because I want to show you examples of stuff. I'm going to skip through some things. And I'm going to apologize because it is a little disorganized. And as people, there are some people who are early, and I'm like moving stuff around, and I'm moving this and taking that out. And I used to do this training, it was 2 hours, and I did understanding autism and interventions in 2 hours. So today you get a 2 hour, well not 2 hours, but an hour and 10 minutes of some stuff. So, but I hope to in about 10, 15 minutes we'll take a little bit of a break. So, I'll tell you what this isn't today, what it is and isn't. I hope that you can get a few things out of this. If you can take 2 or 3 things home to help your kids, somebody you work with, that's the goal. Okay? like I said, it's taken 15 years for me to put all this stuff together. You do need help from a professional because that knows how to work with individuals on the autism spectrum. So 15 years ago, I fell into this job. I ran programs for kids. I ended up having kids on the autism spectrum. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I'm licensed. I don't know what that is, right? So, so I spent a lot of time learning. Some of these interventions, you know, if things go wrong, it's really important to get some help to figure out how to make it work. The big piece that when Jordan was here is appreciating how his brain works different. He talked a lot about a lot of things, right? He talked about sensory stuff. He talked about being overloaded. He talked about talking too much and people sharing too much information. There's a couple things he said, and the fact that he was able to be humorous with me did not happen, you know, 3 years ago. I mean, I'd joke with him, and he'd be like, "Why are you insulting me?" Okay, so the fact that he could even joke around today and embarrass me, so it was pretty good. I mean, that's not something he was able to do. And then when he asked, he said, somebody banter with me, and somebody started banter with him, what did he do? He was like, "What are you talking about?" Right? Very literal, right? Okay, but he had just asked, "Please banter with me." Okay, I knew. Anybody not know what the person in the back was doing? I knew. So it's like, okay, Jordan, I gotta help you here just a little bit. So, right, and so they do take things literal. Sometimes they miss information. He had to stop it several times because his brain kind of gets going, and he's kind of moving along, and he's got this whole train of thoughts he's got to get out to you. But if you stop him, that's one of the things that we had to work with as a family, is if you stop him, man, he comes to this, it's like all the cars kind of come to this screeching halt, and everything crashes and burns. So the way the brain works and processes information is very different. Mom said he'll do well in school all day long, and then come home and crash. Okay. So if you think about a bad day at work, sometimes we hold it together when we come home and our spouse can tell, right? So kids with autism spectrum happens every day. And they may not be able to hold it. Sometimes they will hold it at home and take it out at school. So, because they only have so much energy to pull into things. So the other part is practice. Practice, 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 practice. The things I talked about today is you have to do them hundreds, if not thousands of times with kids. So you have to have patience, right? That's not easy. My wife came to do something with me. I do some volunteer work on we do a support group for parents when they might just start it back up, and I come and I work with the kids because then the parents can, and I know how to work with kids. I know how to work with the most challenging kids you could. There's not a kid I would not work with. And my wife was there saying, "Hey, I need a little bit more help with too many kids." And after a half hour, she was like, "I don't know how you have patience." And I said, 15 years of dealing with this, you know, has taught me a lot of patience. But it's not easy to get. So, because the other part is I get to go home at the end of the day, the kid stays with the parent, the teacher has them for 30 hours a week, whatever happens. So, the other part is some of the interventions, you just got to tweak it. You're going to come up with an intervention, and you got to tweak it, and you got to tweak it, and you got to tweak it. Sometimes, it's very rare I come up with something, and it works the very first time. Okay, I'll show you a couple examples of things that I did. Here's a couple things when you do interventions. This is the big D's, so if it's dangerous, destructive, disruptive, disgusting. Disgusting can be, you know, I'll tell a story about a girl that spit in my mouth. So, and I'm kind of like, okay, and I pretend it never happened, but she never did it again. So it kind of depends what you consider disgusting. So if those big D's happen, you need to really get some help because it's a lot, right? Some kids need to go to the hospital for a little bit. You know, unfortunately, I live in Montana, and today I was up in Shelby area. And I travel one day a week through some rural communities to do this kind of work, and imagine we have a lot for Great Falls. You don't have a lot. Imagine living in a town with 500 people. You don't have anything. So, and how I ended up going up there, I had lots of people come down and say, "Well, I'm going to go to your home," because I go to homes and work with families. So, this is sitting outside on the table. I hope you take it. I did not create it. I don't remember who did. Okay, I've tweaked it a little bit, but it's a 2-page handout, talks about de-escalation techniques, and it's one of the things I hand out to lots of families that I work with. And I don't think we'll get to talk too much about it today, but it should give you some examples of how to do stuff. So kids on the autism spectrum,